Hey scrappers and recyclers, it's Shark Scrapper. As part of our pending move for North Carolina, I had to make some decisions on what to do about some very heavyweight wreckage that I had set up. Come on, let me know what you think about this plan. So I'm talking about this steel that came off of a cell phone tower. I had pallets stacked on top of this. It's a great size. They set right across here. I'll try to get you a picture of what it used to look like. That wreckage right there, I'm going to get the bins off of it, the pallets off of it, and see if I can't get that sold here locally. We weren't able to sell it locally, so plan B is to take it with us. Well, kinda. And when I was planning my move to North Carolina, I was thinking I was going to have to sell this. I put it up on Marketplace for local buyers. Nobody expressed any interest in it. So I have decided on another plan. Instead of just cutting it up and selling it all as HMS, I'm going to take it with me. Now, here's how I'm resolving some concerns. It is too long to fit in the pod, but I don't need it to be that long. I only need it to be long enough for a bracket here, that bracket, and that bracket. That will be plenty long enough for me to put cargo pallets on that I need, and it will fit in the pod. It also reduces the weight. So I've calculated that the I-beams, angle beams, once I cut them, will weigh about 65 pounds each. So each one of these will weigh about 65 pounds. And then each one of these brackets will weigh, or currently weighs, 81 pounds. So that would give me a total weight of 373 pounds just for this. And I think that's a worthwhile weight to consume in this move. This is a really good wreckage setup. I can put cargo pallets on it. It's going to hold any weight that I put up on top of it for sure. And I didn't really want to get rid of it in the first place. I certainly didn't want to just sell it for scrap if I didn't have to. So we're going to go ahead and get some cutting done and prep this for the move. Come on, let's dive in. One of the first things I did was I trimmed off the end of this angle piece here. You can see that one's a bit longer. So this bolt was where this hole was where the bracket was bolted in. And conveniently enough, this piece that I cut off weighs 10 pounds. So I was very easily able to determine that once I cut this, the whole thing should weigh about 65 pounds because it's about 6.5 of these. How clever was that? Kind of accidentally clever. I think the next step is we're going to unbolt this angle piece here and flip it around so I can cut off that far end of it. This bolt is 1 1/16, so it's a tad big. More than what we're used to dealing with. You'll notice here that I brought the Genie lift up to help support this beam while I was cutting it. That turned out to be the easiest thing to do rather than trying to spin the beam around and such. So worked out really well. We're doing good. Now I gotta get that piece moved over where I can cut it safely. All right, I was a little bit off. It's 71 pounds, not 65. That's okay, that's still fine. I'm just gonna make some quick adjustments to my weight tracker. Now we need to get some cut marks on here so I know where I'm cutting. And I don't know about you all, but I suck at this. I mean, give me a straight line and I will not be able to follow it. So we'll be doing some cleanup grinding once we get settled in up north. Now this one's going to be a little more difficult because it's not sitting on the brace. So when I take the screws out, it's going to want to come down. So I need to give it a little help. Safety first, as always. Now, I always wear steel-toed boots to the workshop and long, heavy-duty trousers. In this case, these are actually machinist trousers with the fire retardant braces on the legs. I've got the welder's hood, welder's sleeves in order to prevent my arms and my head from getting burned by the sparks and stuff that'll be coming off. And certainly don't want something going down my shirt. You know, I'm going to be holding a 9-inch grinder, as you saw before. A lot of sparks are going to be flying. The last thing I want is to be distracted while I'm holding that heavy, piece of machinery that deserves your respect. A long sleeve t-shirt probably would have been good enough, but these sleeves are definitely going to protect my arms. Of course, you want the hood on or some sort of eye protection. I prefer the whole face shield when I'm doing this kind of heavy work because it protects my whole face in addition to my eyes, and it doesn't fog up the way glasses can sometimes. I know that some of you may be thinking that, I'm throwing all those sparks up against the drywall. Aren't I worried about it catching fire? This is a fire safety wall here separating the two spaces. So it's going to take a lot more than these sparks to get this drywall burning. But I do check it periodically while I'm cutting, just to be on the safe side. Now, of course, if I was aboard ship, I'd actually have a fire safety watch, which would be another person standing by with a fire extinguisher watching just to make sure there's no fire. And now we'll get the other end cut, and this will be ready to get packed up when the pod shows up. I got a lot of work that needs to be done in this shop to get it ready to move. This has been taking up way too much space in the shark cage for way too long. Some cast iron from a barbell set, a rotor, and then I've got what I'm pretty sure the yard that's closest to me is going to call number 2 prepared. It's galvanized, so it's going to be number 2, and most of it's under 4 feet, so I think they'll go with prepared. And if they really get dicey about it, they might want to call it unprepared, because there are some pieces that are larger than 6 feet, obviously. But usually they're pretty good. If the bulk of something is prepared, they'll take it as prepared. What do you all think? Was the time and effort spent worthwhile prepping this rack to go with me up to North Carolina? Here's some more videos for y'all while you're leaving your comments down below. Take care.